What's happening, YouTube? You know my name ring bells. So I had to come at you again with this, right? You notice that you know, I like to move the culture forward was a part 1, right? Okay. You get a lot of these people who get this phrase, bro. It's like a buzz phrase at this point. I like putting my money into shit that's gonna move the culture forward. But it's like any type of motion is not necessarily good motion. There's a lot of motion too that's good motion and bad motion at the same time, like crack in the 80s. Crack in the 80s is a prime example of good and bad motion at the same time. The good motion was people making hella money. The bad motion was setting a whole population of people that I got a lot of love and respect for, that I grew up around, way the fuck back. And in the process of that, some people like me was getting caught up and also getting set way the fuck back. And the fuck part was nobody cared till it started affecting people who was not from that culture. It had nothing to do with being white or black. It had nothing to do with it. It had to do with a certain tax bracket. That's why once people who were doctors, lawyers, lawmakers, shit like that, once they kids started on, then it was a problem. Then it was like, we need to make a Narcan. Either way. So I started realizing, you know what? Because now this culture is getting so far from what I can say is moving it forward. Like, bro, when you take someone who's claiming a certain thing and saying they gay and put that out on the internet, like that's something that's okay in a lot of, it's not okay in a lot of circumstances. I know from personal experience, there's a lot of shit. If you was doing that, you in violation. You in severe violation. In a lot of cases, whether you in prison or not, you in severe violation. Like I said, I'm not against gay people, but that's just the truth about shit. Ain't what I be doing, none of that. But, you know what I'm saying? Like, so, it's like, I realize I'm in more of a position to move the culture forward now, okay, than other people who's in bigger positions than me. And I say that because there's a certain, like I've said this earlier in this channel, there's a certain, like, not a calm before the storm type feeling, because it's not a negative feeling, but there's a very, like, there's something big, like something's going to turn out big for me real soon. Like, I can feel it in the air. And so if I start preaching this shit before then and it catch on, when it catch on, I'll be able to undo a lot of the bullshit these motherfuckers have been doing, you know what I'm saying, for all this time, that just now people are like, man, what the fuck, man? You like, we see the effect of what you preaching now. Come on now. We want to act like we didn't see it for that long, but now, you know what I'm saying, it's hard to say we can't see it. I think it's just so ironic this is happening at a time that the wool's coming off. It's literally at the same time, like literally right about the time this started, when I started realizing people were starting to wake up to this, like to the levels that they are now. Right about the same time, they put that guy from Texas, that gay, whatever the fuck, on No Jumper. It was almost like people upstairs was like, well, we don't like to interfere, but this is like last stand type shit. And people down there, they can't stop it. We won't be able to stop it immediately, but we know we can do shit now that'll stop it in 3 years. You know what I'm saying? And with they help down there, it'll help stop it before that. I believe people like Tookie might have wound up in heaven. Tookie did some bad shit. He also spent the entirety of his life in prison telling other people not to make the same mistakes he did. People can say, but he was still cripping. People were still having to respect his cripping, you know what I'm saying, up until the time he was asking for clemency. And he didn't get it. Well, yeah, because you make certain choices, they're made for life. Blood out, blood in, homie. That's how it works. You know, but when it comes down to it, it's like, he really like tried to set this other generation up to not go the same way. And for him being who he was to do that, that's really like, I could see God respecting it. Because God see everything. So God knows what come with this shit. God knows what, you know, if someone lesser than him in that type of shit did that, what type of shit could happen to them. Either way. It's just, I see this shit in such a way where it's like, bro, like, y'all talk about all this moving the culture forward, bro. You would be confusing backwards with forward, it seems. Cause I see a lot of that going on. That was that one bitch. I will say that about her. I hate the fact now that people are trying to say she was right. No, she wasn't. Absolutely not. See Dolores Tucker, whatever her name is? Like she was concerned with where the shit was heading. You had no reason to be concerned at that point, miss. You know, you dead. I respect that. Rest in peace, see Dolores Tucker. But come on, bro. Like, that was nothing. That was societal norms that your side of the aisle, a lot of people don't remember, she was a politician. And personally, I think that was a whole angle for her to try to get another term. Because she ain't been in that bitch in 20 years. She want to get back in that bitch. People didn't want her back in that bitch. You know it's bad when someone served for less than a decade on the Senate or on the House. Either one. You know it's bad because it means they didn't really want them there. Like, their own constituents didn't really want them there. But yeah, like, she was concerned with the whole, I don't like where this is going, da-da-da-da. Listen, man, it wasn't going nowhere because what was being rapped about was already shit that was going on. Okay? Just like how nowadays what's being rapped about is shit that's going on. The difference is, I think, the way it's talked about, there's also certain things we weren't going for in our generation. I wish somebody would came out and been gay cripping on the track and seen how well that would have gone for you. Because let me tell you, the Crips would not have been, I don't even think they going for that now. I ain't even Crippin', but I'm saying, I don't even think they going for that shit now. One of the reasons I want to start my Patreon up is I got some stories about some shit like that. Not that I personally was part of, but of people that I know of. There's some weird shit on their name. But I know if I do it on Patreon, the chances of them seeing that are basically none. So yeah, either way, you know, if I get enough support for that, we'll put that up. So I realized the best thing for me to do is keep saying that the generation's fucking up. Keep trying to tell motherfuckers you need to start doing some, I don't want to say manly shit, so I'm not going to say that. Y'all need to start putting some big boy pants on for some shit, man. Y'all need to start, you know, being dolo and being able to stand like that. You know what I'm saying? There's a reason people from our generation ain't get caught for shit. We had no problem doing it ourselves, so no one could roll on us. I'm out this bitch.